Hello to all viewers. Hello to everyone. I am Shiloh, the last scribe for the house of Jacob. I am a messenger and a true servant of the Almighty. On November 29, 2019, the Almighty will visit the earth to judge every living thing. On that day, every living thing will be given life or death. This video is part 17 of a series of videos titled The Book of Genesis, Unsealed and Untold. And these series of videos cover everything in the book of Genesis from chapter 1 to chapter 50. With all the confusion removed, with all the allegories removed, in these series of videos you will hear the truth according to the Almighty, according to what the Almighty commanded the house of Jacob to keep recorded. I will start where I left off. Let's begin video number 17. From there, Jacob came to Shiloh. Shiloh is in the land of Canaan. It is a city of excitement, of terror, and of anguish. It is also called the city of Shechem. Shechem was the son of Hamor. Hamor is the king of the Hevi. Now Jacob pitched his tent outside the city. There Jacob bought a flat piece of land with a field for 100 pieces of money from the descendants of Hamor. On this land, Jacob appointed officers and deputies. He appointed them to be stationed there, and he set up and established an altar there. Jacob called the altar Shaddai, meaning the Almighty. Then Jacob chose and invited guests to preach to them. Jacob preached the authority, the reputation, the honor, the glory, and the character of the Almighty, the all-supreme ruler, the creator of all things. Dinah, the daughter of Jacob's wife Leah, considered the daughters of the land, and went out to learn about them. Dinah wanted to see if she could respect them and enjoy learning about them. Therefore, she went out to present herself to them. Now Shechem is the son of Hamor. He was the prince of the country. When he saw Dinah present herself to the daughters of the land, he considered. He observed her and gave his attention to her. He wanted to see if he could respect her and enjoy learning about her. Therefore he appeared and presented himself to her. Shechem mishandled Dinah's humbleness and gentleness. He spoke humbly to her, but he humiliated and hurt her. He defiled her. Shechem took possession of her and ravished her. He made her lie down to have sexual relations with him. Then he fell in love with Dinah. He spoke to her with care and with words that were kind. He stayed with Dinah and followed her closely. Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "You will get this young woman for me to be my wife." Now Jacob had stopped what he was doing to listen to a report from a witness. Jacob listened with interest as the witness spoke aloud. Then Jacob understood. He heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah. Jacob's sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they came back from the field with his cattle. Hamor, the father of Shechem, arranged to meet Jacob, and went out to speak with him. When the sons of Jacob heard the report from the witness, they came out of the field. They were hurt and displeased. They were worried about Shechem's form of worship, and they were angry and grieved in pain. They began to become very angry because Shechem had brought senselessness, disgrace, immorality, and wickedness unto the house of Jacob by forcibly laying in sexual relations with their sister, Jacob's daughter. This is a thing that need not to be done nor accomplished. Hamor arranged to meet with them, and he spoke to Jacob, saying, "The heart of my son Shechem delights in loving your daughter. His heart is attached to her. His desire and love is set upon her. I pray that you will give her to him to be his wife. You will make your marriages with us. You will give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. You will live with us, and the land will be in front of you. Live and trade in the land. Take your possessions from in this land." Shechem spoke to Jacob and Dinah's brothers, saying, Let me find favor and acceptance in your eyes. Whatever you will ask of me, I will give it. Ask. There is no such thing as too many gifts and presents, because I will give you according to what you ask of me. Only give me Dinah to be my wife. The sons of Jacob answered Shechem and his father Hamor deceitfully, because Shechem had mishandled and defiled their sister Dinah. They spoke to them, saying, We cannot do this thing. We cannot give our sister to a man that is uncircumcised, who has not circumcised his flesh by cutting off his foreskin. This would be shame and disgrace unto us. If you become as we are, and every male of you circumcise his flesh by cutting off his foreskin, in this we will agree with your request. Then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us. We will live with you, and we will become one and the same people of a nation. But if you do not obey what we request from you, to be circumcised in the flesh by cutting off your foreskin, then we will take our sister, and we will be gone away. Their words were pleasing to Hamor and his son Shechem. Shechem did not hold off from, nor put away from doing this thing, because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. Now Shechem was glorified with more honor than all the house of his father. King Hamor and Shechem came into the court of their city and conversed with the men of their city. They spoke to their men, saying, The men of the house of Jacob are at peace with us. Let them live in the land and trade in it, because the land is large enough for them. Let us marry their daughters, and let us give our daughters to them for marriage. They will live with us to be one and the same people, but only on one condition: if every male among us be circumcised in the flesh as they are circumcised. Will not their cattle and their substance and every beast of them be ours? Let us agree to their request, and they will live with us. All of them that were in the court of the city listened to King Hamor and his son Shechem. Then every male that left out of the city gate was circumcised. On the third day, when the men of Hamor were sore from circumcision, it came to pass, 2 of Dinah's brothers, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, took possession of their sword. Then in confidence they carelessly and boldly came upon the city. They attacked and killed all the males. They killed King Hamor and Prince Shechem with the edge of their sword. They took Dinah out of Shechem's house and departed away. Because Prince Shechem had defiled their sister, the sons of Jacob came and plundered the whole city. They took possession of their sheep, their oxen, their donkeys, all that was in the city, and all that was in their fields. They took all their wealth. They took all their little ones and their wives captive. They plundered all that was in the house of Hamor. Jacob spoke to his sons Simeon and Levi, saying, You have caused a disturbance, or you have caused a disturbance. You have caused a calamity. You have stirred up trouble against me, and you have caused me to stink of wickedness among the Canaanites, among the Perizzite, and among the inhabitants of the land. Now because I am fewer in number, they will assemble and gather themselves against me to kill me. Me and my house will be destroyed. And they responded to Jacob, asking, Should we have let him deal with our sister like a prostitute? Now the Almighty visited and spoke to Jacob, saying, I am the Almighty, the all-supreme being, the all-supreme ruler, the creator of all things. I appeared to you when you fled from the face of your brother Esau. Now arise and go outside the city of Luz, to Bayith Shaddai, and you will live there. There you will build and set up an altar to honor me. Jacob spoke to his household and all that were with him, warning them, commanding them, saying, Reject the Elohim. Rebel and reject their gods, their goddesses, their angels, their rulers, their judges, and their mighty ones. Depart from their ways and eliminate their way of living from among you. They are foreign gods of vanity. Therefore reject and rebel against any god among you. All gods are of the stranger. All gods are of the heathen. Depart from all their ways and remove them from among you. Do not contaminate yourselves with them. Be morally clean and ceremonially innocent. Present yourselves as pure. For the better, change your garments and clothing. Now let us arise. We will go to Bayith Shaddai. I will build and set up an altar there to honor the Almighty, the all-supreme ruler, the creator of all things. It is He, the Almighty, who answered me in the time of my distress. It was He, the Almighty, who was with me wherever I went on my journey. They gave Jacob all the gods and idols of the Elohim that were in their hands under their care. They gave Jacob all their foreign gods of vanity of the stranger and heathen. They gave Jacob all the jewelry and earrings that were in their ears. And Jacob hid them secretly under an oak tree that was by the city of Shechem. Then they journeyed together. Now the fear, the terror, and dread of the Almighty was upon the cities that were all around them. The people of the cities did not pursue after the sons of Jacob, nor chase after them any of those that were with them. In the land of Canaan, Jacob and all the people that were with him came to Luz. They settled outside the city in Bayith Shaddai, and Jacob built and set up an altar there. He chose and invited guests to be preached to. Then Jacob preached the honor, the reputation, the character, the authority, and the glory of the Almighty. Now as a penalty for neglecting wise conduct and good morals, Rebekah's nurse, Deborah, died prematurely. She was put to death. She was killed by a warlock magician, and she was buried under an oak tree in Bayith Shaddai. The name of the tree was called Alon Bahuth, the oak of weeping. When Jacob came out of Padan, journeying to Shalem, in a dream, the Almighty appeared visible before Jacob again. The Almighty blessed him. The Almighty spoke to Jacob, saying, I am the Almighty, the all-supreme being, the all-supreme ruler, the creator of all things. I will cause you to be fruitful and multiply to become numerous in number in the land. A nation of people, of my purpose, of my service, as an organized body of people will become a nation, and they will invade the land with war against evil counsel. But this nation of people will assemble themselves in evil counsel. Afterwards, after their end, a nation of returning exiles, of a multitude of nations, of my purpose, of my service, as an organized body of people will invade the land with war against evil counsel. But this nation of people will assemble in my counsel. Both these nations of people and their royal kings will come from your loins. The land that I gave to your grandfather Abraham is the same land I gave to your father Isaac. And this will be the same land I give to you. It will be the same land I give to your children, to your children's offspring, to your offspring's descendants, to your descendants' posterity, and of your posterity's descendants, to a people of moral quality and a practitioner of my righteousness. Then the Almighty departed and ascended from the place where he talked to Jacob. In the same place where the Almighty spoke to Jacob, Jacob built and set up another memorial of stone, and poured a drink offering upon it. Then he poured oil upon it. Jacob chose and invited guests to preach to them. Then Jacob preached and proclaimed the authority, the honor, the character, the reputation, the glory and the promise of the Almighty, the all-supreme ruler. Jacob called this place Shaddai Bayith Shaddai, the Almighty of the house of the Almighty, because by vision the Almighty, the all-supreme ruler, appeared and presented himself face to face with Jacob again. Therefore the name of the place the Almighty spoke to him again is called Shaddai Bayith Shaddai. Then as he and those with him journeyed from Shaddai by Shaddai, when there was a little way to go to reach Ephrath, Rachel began to have labor pains. While Rachel was in hard pain from the difficult labor, it came to pass. Her midwife spoke to her, saying, "Do not fear, you will have this son also." As her soul was leaving her body, as she was dying, Rachel called the boy's name Bani, but his father Jacob called him Benjamin. Rachel died and was buried on the journey to Ephrath, which is before Beth-lachim. Jacob built and set up a memorial of stone upon her grave, and it is the same memorial stone of Rachel's grave to this day. Jacob continued to journey and spread his tent beyond the castles in the Tower of Adair. The Tower of Adair is near Beth-lachim. Now the sons of Jacob were 12 in number. When Jacob lived in the land, it came to pass his firstborn Reuben went and lay down in sexual relations with his father's concubine, Bilhah. Jacob stopped what he was doing and listened with interest to the report from a witness. Now the sons of Leah were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Rachel's handmaid Bilhah were Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Leah's handmaid Zilpah were Gad and Asher. Zilpah's sons were born to Jacob in Padan. Jacob came to his father Isaac in Mamre at the city of Kiryah-Arba. Kiryah-Arba is the name of the city before it was called Hebron. This is where Abraham and Isaac traveled and lived. Being old and full of days, Isaac lived to be 180 years old. Then as his spirit departed, Isaac took his last breath and died. All his people were assembled and gathered to him. His sons Esau and Jacob buried him. These are the generations of Esau. Esau is also known as Edom. Esau took possession of women to be for wives. He took some from the daughters of Canaan. There was Adah. She is the daughter of Elon the Hittite. There was Aholibamah. There was Ishmael's daughter, Bosmath. Adah gave birth to Eliphaz. Basmath gave birth to Reuel. Aholibamah gave birth to Yeush, then Yalam, then Korach. These are the sons of Esau that were born to him in the land of Canaan. Esau's wealth and Jacob's riches were too much to allow them to dwell together, and the land where they lived in as strangers could not support them, because of all their livestock and cattle. So Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, all persons of his house, all his cattle, all his human species of behemoth, and all his substance he got in the land of Canaan. Then he went into the country away from the face of his brother Jacob. Esau went to live in the mountain of Seir. These are the generations of Esau. Esau is the chief ancestor and progenitor of the Edomites in the mountain of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz is the son of Esau and Adah. Reuel is the son of Esau and Bashmath. The son of Eliphaz were Timon, then Omar, then Sepho, then Gatam, then Kenaz. Timnah was the concubine of Eliphaz, and she gave birth to Amalek. These were the grandsons of Esau's wife Adah. These are the sons of Reuel. Firstborn is Nahath, then Zerach, then Shammah, then Mizeh. This is the end of part 17 of my video series titled The Book of Genesis Unsealed and Untold. and it covers my manuscript titled The Almighty, the Beginning, His Creation of Mankind, His Promise to Judge Mankind, His War Against the Elohim, His New World, and His Order. I am Shiloh, the last scribe for the house of Jacob. Watch my videos, follow me, and discover the recorded truth about the Almighty, His power, His glory, His honor, His reputation, His experiences with, and His message to all the individual species of persons on the earth.